It's a 1939 Chevy Master Deluxe, which is extremely rotten. Well, I say extremely rotten. The whole back panel's gone inside and out. Inner and outer seals are gone, and the rocker panels at the front have gone. Other than that, it's just a few local little repairs on the lower halves of the wings where the road grime basically sits for years and years and years. So it's a case of just cut all the bad bits out, replace the bad bits with good bits, then prep and paint the whole car. Simple as that. He hasn't chosen the colours yet, but it will be two-tone. It will be split along the swage line. It's probably going to be a lighter colour on the top, darker colour on the bottom. It's probably going to be very classic colours, sort of two-tone brown or two-tone green or something like that, something from 39 era. And then he's got to decide whether he's going to retrim the whole car or just leave it as it is and use it. He's going to use it for a wedding, but he wants to be able to use it every day. So we've converted it to 12 volt with an alternator rather than a dynamo. So hopefully he can just get in it, turn the key and drive anywhere he wants. But we've been waiting for a few months for all the new panels, which are all up here. So we've got new running balls for it, new support brackets, new rear panel, inner and outer seals, loads and loads of rubbers for doors and windows and stuff like that. It's just, there's a whole jigsaw of parts up in there. So it's a case of trying to work it out how it all goes back together, really. When you find rust on the surface, there's always going to be more rust beneath the surface. So always cut out more than you need to and always weld it back to clean, nice shiny metal if you can get to it. If it's not doable, then you've just got to clean it back as best you can or replace that whole area. A lot of these old cars are made of really good steel, so you will find good metal to weld to rather than just guessing and having to replace the whole lot. It's always a challenge because you could there's triple skins in the back of this car, for example, so you could cut one skin off and it'll be fine, and then you could cut the second one off and it could be rotten on the third. So you don't know until you get in what you're going to find. This is actually quite severely rotten along the back end, but then it's got 1939 car, it's got a lot of years of road grime sitting up against the underneath of that panel, so it's going to rot. And they never designed cars back then to not have water traps. All old cars have got water traps of some description, and that's why they rot. So whenever I try and put stuff back together, I try and eliminate the water trap, either by sealing up around it or making it completely bespoke panel so there is no water trap. That's the biggest part of trying to keep old cars from rotting away, really. If you go cutting the whole side out of a car and it's a four-door car, something's going to move. Unless you've braced the whole lot up, you've got to do it section by section methodically. Whenever there's a four-door car, especially if it's a pillarless car, you need to put cross braces in there just to stop anything moving so the doors still work as they should. Or you need to brace it in a way that you know it's never going to move, i.e. clamp it to a jig or something like that. But we haven't got the room for a jig, so we have to do it the old-fashioned way. Aftermarket panels, they sort of, in our industry, we say they fit where they touch. So in other words, if you've got a small gap of 5/8 of an inch, you've got to try and modify the panel to make it gain that 5/8 of an inch gap without moving the original panel to make it meet. So sometimes you have to pie cut some new panels just to bend the shapes into where they need to be. If you've got use of an English wheel, you can English wheel the shape back into it. But they've come out of the original presses that were from 1939 when this car was built. So over the years of pressing hundreds and hundreds of panels, they're going to get worn out. So you don't begrudge having to adjust a panel, providing you've got a good start point to start off with. If the car's completely rotten, then you're starting again anyway, pretty much. So yeah, these panels, they're okay. They sort of fit, but they just need a little bit of tweaking just to make them absolutely spot on. Better than starting from scratch, definitely.